The bustling streets of Philippi, crowded, chaotic, alive with shouts and the clash of trade. Paul and Silas moved through the market, their presence drawing whispers. People had heard about these men, troublemakers, some said, preachers, others called them. But then there was her, a slave girl, young, hollow-eyed, restless, who had followed them for days. Girl's voice, shrill, taunting. These men are servants of the Most High God. They tell you the way to be saved. Everywhere they went, she followed, relentless, unshakable, a puppet to something dark. And then, suddenly, Paul stopped in his tracks. He turned, eyes locked on hers. Paul's voice, commanding, powerful, unshaken. In the name of Jesus Christ, I command you, come out of her. A gasp, a shudder, and then silence. The girl blinked, stunned, free. The city about to explode. The slave masters stormed toward Paul and Silas, faces twisted with rage. Angry merchant's voice, furious. These men just cost us our business. They're ruining our city. A crowd formed. Whispers became shouts. The shouts became roars. The city officials didn't even ask questions. They ripped the robes off Paul and Silas, dragged them into the square, and the beatings began. Sound of a wooden rod slicing through the air, a sickening crack, cries of pain, blow after blow. Their backs tore open, blood spattered the ground. Then, half-conscious, they were dragged away. The jailer, a Roman soldier built like a fortress, stood with his arms crossed. The jailer's voice, cold, commanding, "Make sure these men don't escape." He grabbed Paul and Silas and shoved them deep into the prison's darkest cell. Sound of heavy iron doors slamming shut, the click of chains tightening, no light, no escape. The air was thick with dampness and despair, and there, in the pitch black, their bodies broken, their hands bound, they waited. Hours passed, pain sat heavy on their bodies, but suddenly Paul and Silas began to sing. Paul's voice, low, filled with faith, singing, "Great is thy faithfulness, O God my Father." Silas joins in, their voices strong, unshaken. "There is no shadow of turning with thee." The other prisoners stirred. What kind of men sing in prison? Their voices grew stronger. Praise filled the darkness, and heaven listened. Then midnight struck, and the earth began to shake. A deep rumble. Then boom! Sound of walls shaking, chains rattling, the groan of stone cracking. The ground convulsed. Iron bars ripped free from their hinges. Every chain snapped, every prisoner free. The jailer woke with a start. He staggered to his feet, eyes widening. The doors were open, his prisoners were gone, and he knew his life was over. Heart pounding, he reached for his sword. The jailer's voice, guttural, desperate. "It's over! It's over!" He lifted the blade to his chest. "Stop! Don't harm yourself! We are all here!" Paul said. The jailer froze. Torch in hand, he rushed inside. Not a single prisoner had fled. And there, in the center of it all, Paul and Silas stood, unmoved, unafraid. He fell to his knees, the jailer's voice, shaking, desperate. "Sirs, what must I do to be saved?" The jailer led them to his home. His wife and children stared in shock. He washed their wounds. He fed them. Paul's voice, steady, full of hope. "Believe in Jesus Christ, and you will be saved." And that night, sound of water splashing. The jailer and his entire family were baptized, from chains to freedom, from despair to joy. Word reached the city officials. They had arrested the wrong men. They sent orders. The official's voice, nervous, "Release those men quietly." But Paul, he refused to go silently. Paul's voice, bold, unyielding. "You beat us publicly. You humiliated us. And now you want us to leave in secret? Number, you yourselves must escort us out." The magistrates panicked. Paul was a Roman citizen. What they had done was illegal. They rushed to the prison apologizing, and Paul and Silas walked out, heads high, unshaken. Before leaving, they gathered the believers. Paul's voice was encouraging. Even in suffering, God is at work. Even in prison, he sets captives free. And with that, they moved on. But Philippi would never be the same, because the night the earth shook, it wasn't just chains that broke, it was hearts. They worshipped in chains, and God responded with power. They didn't wait for freedom to sing. They sang, and freedom came. Even in suffering, their faith led others to salvation. So what about you? What do you do when the prison doors shut? What do you do when the world turns against you? Paul and Silas sang. And because they sang, the earth shook, chains fell, and a city was saved. What if your worship could shake the earth too?